Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive behavioral experiment to crack the code on designing corporate innovation contests that, well, actually work. If you've ever banged your head against the wall trying to get the absolute best ideas out of your team, you are definitely in the right place. Let's kick things off with a big question. Why do so many companies struggle to get that true light bulb moment out of their teams? Organizations pour massive resources into these big suggestion boxes and flashy corporate hackathons, and yet, they often end up with completely underwhelming results, right? To figure out why this keeps happening, we really need to look at how we define and reward the creative process itself. Okay, so we have to start by defining what a truly creative idea actually is in a business context. It's not just, wild imagination. Research shows it requires a really delicate, exact balance. It has to be highly novel, meaning completely new, and highly useful, providing a real practical benefit. And let me tell you, hitting both of those targets at the exact same time, it's incredibly difficult. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're covering the innovation dilemma, inside the experiment, the evaluator effect, the prize puzzle, empowering hidden voices, and finally, the manager's playbook. Let's get right to it. All right, Section 1, the innovation dilemma and the cost of ideas. So the crucial point here is that ideas are actually quite costly for employees to develop and share. Just think about it. Your frontline workers probably have these brilliant ideas sparked by their day-to-day operations. But fleshing out a concept, writing the whole thing up, and submitting it, that takes time away from their actual jobs. It requires real mental energy. So without the right incentives, those brilliant ideas simply remain locked away in their heads. Contests are a super popular solution because they provide clear rules and explicit motivation to overcome that friction. But, and this is a huge but, only if they're designed correctly. Moving on to Section 2, inside the experiment, testing contest design.
Researchers ran a massive 2x2 field experiment on an online labor market. They wanted to test two highly controllable levers that pretty much every manager has at their disposal. First up, the evaluator role. Who actually judges the contest? Is it a panel of the participants' everyday peers, or is it a panel of managers? And second, the prize structure. Do we offer a single, high-stakes, winner-take-all prize of $100, or do we spread the wealth and offer 10 smaller prizes of $10 each?
To make sure the data was completely trustworthy, the researchers didn't just use some hypothetical student survey. No, they used a real-world setting where actual online workers submitted genuine job-related ideas to improve the very platform they were working on. Over 7 days, they collected a whopping 527 unique ideas. And these weren't objective math problems with right or wrong answers. They were subjectively graded on a 0 to 100 scale for both novelty and usefulness, which really perfectly captures the messy ambiguity of evaluating corporate innovation. Which brings us to Section 3, the evaluator effect. Why who judges really matters. To truly understand the results here, we've got to look at the psychology of the contestants. It all comes down to what's called perspective-taking theory. Basically, when performance is judged subjectively, participants try to predict the unique tastes of the judge. They literally adjust the features of their ideas to maximize their perceived chance of winning. It makes sense, right? If you think the judge wants something safe, well, you write something safe. If you think they want something wild, you push the boundaries. And this reveals a massive behavioral trade-off. When participants knew their peers were judging, they felt understood. Participation spiked, and the ideas were incredibly novel. We're talking true out-of-the-box thinking here. But when managers were the judges, participation actually dropped, and the ideas shifted dramatically toward being highly useful, but safe. The contestants correctly assumed that managers, the ones who actually bear the cost of implementing these ideas, care most about practicality and implementation. It's like a giant puzzle. Let's dive into Section 4, the prize puzzle, and the idea of spreading the wealth. 11.33. That is exactly how many minutes, on average, a participant in this experiment spent actively thinking about and developing a single idea. Now, in the fast-paced gig economy, 11 essentially unpaid minutes is a massive investment of effort. So the question is, how did the prize money actually change that behavior? Well, the paradox here might actually surprise you. You'd probably think that offering 10 prizes instead of 1 would encourage everyone to try harder, right? Because, hey, they have a better shot at winning. But literally, the exact opposite happened.
The single large prize generated longer ideas, higher self-reported effort, and highly novel concepts. Increasing the number of prizes actually lowered overall participant effort. When contestants competed for those 10 smaller prizes, the ideas were significantly shorter, way less time was spent on them, and the average novelty of the ideas absolutely plummeted. No way, right?
But hang on, let's look at Section 5, Empowering Hidden Voices, and a secret inclusion superpower. Before you completely write off multiple small prizes, we've got to consider this data on demographics that are traditionally underrepresented in innovation spaces, like older workers and non-males. Now, they report being just as naturally creative, but they have significantly less baseline experience securing funds or promoting ideas. So, lacking a history of formal recognition, they inherently believe they have zero chance of winning a subjective winner-take-all contest. And this brings us to a massive breakthrough. While multiple small prizes might lower the average effort, they uniquely and significantly spiked participation from those exact underrepresented demographics. Think about it. By offering 10 smaller prizes instead of one super intimidating large prize, the perceived threshold for winning completely dropped. It mitigated the uncertainty. This structure perfectly empowered these hidden voices, giving them the confidence to finally step up and share their valuable insights. It's a real game changer. All right, on to our final piece, Section 6, the Manager's Playbook, Applying the Science. So let's turn all this research into a strategic framework for your next initiative. The main takeaway? There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all contest. If your goal is continuous, useful improvement from a highly diverse crowd, you should use manager evaluators and multiple small prizes. But if you desperately need a radical, out-of-the-box breakthrough, you absolutely must use peer evaluators and a single high-stakes prize. You simply have to match the architecture of the contest to the specific goal of your firm. I'll leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. Take a hard look at the way your organization currently asks for ideas. Based on what we've unpacked today about perspective taking and prize thresholds, are the contests you run today accidentally suppressing the exact type of innovation you so desperately need? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you unlock the hidden genius in your teams.